it's me, PM Whispers with Exploring ASMR. I just wanted to chat with you for a little bit about starting a YouTube channel and balancing that passion that you've discovered with your family life. Many things come into play when you start thinking about starting a YouTube channel. I mean, there are so many things you have to consider. What are you going to record? ASMR? Great choice. When are you planning to film? This requires some special consideration if you're doing ASMR videos. How often do you want to upload? Meaning, how much time do you want to spend recording and editing? Then you also need to consider social media time for channel promotion. You need to get the info out there that you have started your channel, and these days it is all about self-promotion through social media. So that's something else to consider. And don't forget, you still need time for your real life job. Yes, you can't just stop working. You need time for your family and your friends. You don't just want to drop the rest of your life because you're starting up a new passion or a new hobby, whatever you want to call it. It can seem a little bit overwhelming when you start thinking about all of these different factors that are going to come into play. And most of us are extremely passionate about our channels, but you still need to make sure that you find that balance between your channel and your family life. Now, let's pop back up to those questions I just asked for a sec and hit them a little bit more in depth. So, what are you going to film? A few pieces of advice that I can give you. You want to film something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy, something that you want to share with the world, because when you put it on YouTube, you are sharing it with the world. Keep that in mind. You want something, or at least from my perspective, I think it's best to have something that you yourself would feel like watching, something that you are extremely interested in and would watch yourself. It makes it much easier to produce content when it's something that you're highly interested in. Something ASMR specific for you guys to keep in mind. Everything, and yes, I do mean pretty much everything, can be considered a prop. Everything makes some type of noise or can be used as a visual. Let me measure you. So keep those things in mind. Now, as a side note, do not feel like you have to start your channel out with professional equipment. You don't. I started my channel with my phone. The camera in your phone is great. I mean, if you're starting out, this is a great camera to use. You don't have to go out and buy a professional camera. And I bought a little condenser mic on Amazon. Amazon is my friend. But like $25 or something like that for a little condenser mic, and that's what I used when I started my channel, because I simply could not afford to invest in professional, or even semi-professional equipment. So keep that in mind. You don't have to spend a ton of money starting your channel. Let's hit the question of when are you going to film? So, like I said, for ASMR content, this is something that you have to consider heavily. Now, if you're making regular content, you can pretty much film whenever you have the time, and it's not too noisy, like the neighbors aren't throwing a crazy party or something. But for ASMR, because it is so focused on auditory triggers, you need some time that is quiet. And, well, unless you're okay with doing a ton of audio editing, which can get very tedious really quickly. So this means your prime times are at night after your family and the crazy neighbors have all gone to bed, or very, very early in the morning when the rest of the world is still sleeping. So for me, I am a stay-at-home mom, so my schedule is pretty flexible. I know a lot of people are not going to have the flexibility in their schedule that I have because I am a stay-at-home mom. But I have found that the best time to record is early in the morning. I get up at 2 a.m. and from 2 to 3, I get everything set up, get myself dressed however I'm going to dress, set up my dining room because that's where I record. And then from 3 to 6 a.m., I will record. I have to get any recording that I want done out of the way before my daughter gets up, because there is no such thing as quiet with a 5-year-old around. It's just not. It's not happening. So that's what I do. But I do know a lot of people that work, and they will record either later at night or on the weekends. They'll just stay up a little later and, bang out 3 or 4 recordings, and then they have their stuff for the week, all done on the weekend. And that's another thing you might want to think about. Let's talk about how often you want to upload. The biggest thing I can tell you starting out is do not overextend yourself. Don't overreach. It is okay to start out posting 1 or 2 times a week. That is fine. There are lots of people out there that only post once a week, and that's fine. Do not feel like you have to post 3, 4 or more times a week. You will burn yourself out so quickly. With that in mind, it might be a little bit of good advice to pre-record some videos. I had mentioned sitting down for a session and recording 3 or 4 videos at once. Before you start, you might want to do that so that you have a little bitty stockpile, so you can actually enjoy your channel launch when you have it and not feel the pressure of, oh my gosh, I have to sit and record and edit a video in 3 days because I want to post 2 times a week. And yeah, it gets crazy. It's always best to have a little bitty stockpile. Also, keep in mind that everything is going to take longer than you think it will. It does. Everything takes, especially at the beginning, when you're starting out, everything takes so much longer than you initially think it will. So this is why I'm advising that you start out with, only 1 or 2 uploads a week. It's always easier to adjust your schedule later. And as opposed to starting out and giving the viewer an expectation and getting them used to you posting 4 times a week or 3 times a week. When I started, I was posting 3 times a week. And that's why I'm telling you, it's okay to start out with less. But it's easier to scale your channel up. It's easier to add additional days, and then your viewer is so excited because they're getting additional content from you, as opposed to scaling back and having your viewers going, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? We were getting all these posts and now you're dropping to just a couple a week or 1 a week or something. So it's always easier to add. And that way you don't overwork yourself and burn yourself out. Along the same lines of what I said just a minute ago about everything taking longer than you think, it might be a good idea to record yourself. That's so silly. Time yourself. So sit down with your phone. I mean, we all have little timers on our phones. Sit down with it and just time yourself. How long does it take you to set up? How long does it take you to film? How long is it actually taking you to edit? And that will give you a much better idea of how to better manage your time, and a much better idea of how to schedule things. Because the goal is to have your channel and enjoy your channel, but keep the balance. Keep the balance with the family and the friends. So let's talk real quick about social media. Social media is really big. We all know this. Social media is huge. And especially if you're trying to promote something like your YouTube channel. The social media outlets that I see used most frequently are Instagram and Twitter. But then you also have things like Facebook, Reddit, Snapchat. There's lots of other things out there. And then you have, apps, TikTok, Byte, whatever. There's lots of social media avenues out there. Don't feel like you have to participate in social media. It is a great tool, but I have found plenty of YouTube channels with lots of subscribers that don't post anywhere except YouTube. They don't have Instagram. They don't have Twitter. They have their YouTube channel. So don't feel like you have to use social media, but it can be a good tool if you are willing to set aside the time to put into it. And I say set aside the time to put into it because, it does take time. It takes time to do your posts. It takes time to take the pictures for your posts. I mean, time. It's all about time. If you are going to do social media, avoid the drama at all costs. Avoid the drama. You want to be very careful about what you say on social media because your words can have a bigger impact on another creator than you might even realize at the time. So I would say always be respectful and avoid drama at all costs. When I started my YouTube channel, I was nowhere on social media. Nowhere. I take that back. I had a Facebook channel that I used only for family and friends to post pictures. That was pretty much all I used it for. But I was not on Twitter, I was not on Instagram, none of these. And so when I started my YouTube channel, I developed an Instagram and a Twitter, and oh my God, are they addictive. Like the little notifications you get, ding, ding, someone's talking to me, someone's liking my post. I found it highly addictive. And I did not realize how much time that I was spending on my phone dealing with social media and surfing through social media so that I could feel like I was out there and part of the whole community and crowd and stuff like that. I did not realize how much of my time I was spending until my daughters started complaining. And my husband told me he felt like he had a teenager instead of his wife. Yeah, don't do that. Beware of getting too sucked into social media. It's good to participate, but like I said, it's all about keeping a balance in your life. And when I started, I lost it. I did not have balance. Don't forget that you need time for your job, your family, and your friends. At the beginning, it is so easy to let your enthusiasm and your excitement just kind of overtake everything. You're so excited to be starting your channel, and it's really easy to let that excitement distract you from what you have going on in real life. So you want to be careful about that. For me, one of the best way, not one of the ways, but the best way that I have found to create that balance between my enthusiasm for my channel and my family and real life is by creating and maintaining a schedule. I did not do this when I first started, and I could tell a massive difference in my life as a whole once I did start creating and keeping up a schedule. So, with that in mind, find a calendar that you like and make use of it. It does no good to find a calendar and not use it. So for me, I have this little planner, and I put everything in it. I also make use of Google Calendar. Google Calendar is a great resource. I like to write things down. I find it almost cathartic to write things down. So that's why I keep a hard copy. But if you do not want to keep a hard copy calendar, Google Calendar works perfectly. And the great thing about Google Calendar is that you can color code things. So with Google Calendar, it's really easy because of the color coding to glance at the calendar and know pretty much what you're doing for the day or for the week. I have also found that it's best to have an ASMR only calendar. That is actually what my physical calendar is. It is only ASMR. I keep family and friends and other real life stuff, doctor's appointments, whatever. All of that goes into the Google Calendar or the calendar on my phone. But I do not put that in my little hard copy calendar that I have here. This one is strictly ASMR. And so I can look at it and instantly see what I'm planning to upload, what I'm planning to record, any collabs that I might be participating in, and when those are due to be turned in to whoever's coordinating them. And so it's really easy to see that at just a quick glance. I felt like having a combined ASMR and family calendar, everything was jumbled. I couldn't just glance at it and instantly see what I was going to be doing working on my channel that week. So that's why I like to keep the separate calendar for the ASMR. You need to also keep in mind when you are working on your calendar. So you want to schedule in time for filming, editing. I suggest scheduling in social media time so that you have like certain times when you're doing your posts. You also need to keep in mind that you need to schedule time for premieres. Premieres are a really valuable function that YouTube is offering us. When I started my channel, premieres did not exist. But I really like the live chat aspect, that you can sit and get that instant gratification feedback from your audience. But they have to be scheduled, because however long your premiere is, you are going to be chained to your computer for that time because it is a live chat. So make sure that you keep in mind that you have to schedule time for your premieres. So you want to have them at a time when you have time available and will not be distracted. My calendar is my life, literally. Everything in my life goes into the calendar. It lets me keep myself, my work, which is my YouTube channel, and the rest of my life, my family. It lets me keep everything organized and on schedule. To find that balance, for me to find that balance between working on my channel and real life, I find it best to schedule everything in blocks. Like, I will have 2 mornings a week where I get up at 2 a.m. and from 2 to 3 I get everything ready, and from 3 to 6 I record. So 2 days a week I have that scheduled into my calendar. And then 2 or 3 days a week during that same time frame, instead of recording, I have it scheduled to edit. For me, I find this works best. I also have a big block of my calendar scheduled out for homeschooling my daughter. Thank you, coronavirus. Ugh. So, but the rest of my day, I kind of leave open, because with your scheduling, you need to keep in mind that it's not good to schedule every minute of your life. You don't want to be so highly regimented that you feel constrained or confined by your schedule. You need to make sure that you leave downtime in your schedule. So having several afternoons or, like the entire weekend or whatever's going to work for you, where you don't schedule anything, nothing on the calendar, absolutely nothing. And that's your downtime, because we all need that de-stressor. That's another thing that helps us keep the balance in our life so that we don't get burned out, and so that we can keep going and keep producing content for our channel. Every person is an individual with different obligations on their time. And so you need to keep in mind that what works for one will not necessarily work for the other. However, some form of scheduling is highly beneficial so that you can know exactly what you're doing and when you're doing it, so that you're not dropping obligations that you have agreed to with either, other creators, so far as collabs, or just your own personal YouTube channel schedule. You don't want to forget that you're supposed to be posting. But you also don't want to be dropping obligations to your family or your friends. You don't want to just suddenly drop your friends because you've got this new passion through your YouTube channel. So the schedule is what's going to save you from that. And whatever schedule you come up with that works for you, that's what works for you, and that's what you should do. But keep in mind, you want the balance. So hopefully my little ramble here was able to help you just a little bit to kind of clarify in your mind some of the things that you want to consider when you're starting a YouTube channel, or if your channel is already up and running, some things that might help you so far as finding that balance between your channel and your family life.